Hey, we are on Unit 9, and this is our last topic of Unit 9. It's important not to do this topic until you've done all the others, 1 through 4. And our topic is on how to solve quadratic equations. And solving quadratic equations, the easiest way to do that is to use ZPP. So if you see these steps for how to do it, using ZPP is the very last step. That's step number 3. And the reason is because you can only use ZPP if an equation is set equal to 0. So what we're going to do when we get an equation, step number 1, we're going to rearrange so that the equation is set equal to 0. Step number 2, we are going to check for a GCF, and if there's a GCF, we'll factor it out. And then step 3, if there is a GCF, we'll factor it out. And if there is not a GCF, we'll factor using the box method. So there's going to be a lot of factoring here. All right, and then step 3, we'll use ZPP once we have our equation factored. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is just practice step 1. So we're just going to practice how to set something equal to 0. So what I want you to, in each of these equations, is to just locate the equal sign. So there's our equal sign, equal sign, equal sign, equal sign. And then check what that equation is equal to. So in the first equation, we're equal to negative 15. Here, my equation is equal to 2 different terms. Here it's equal to 32. Here it's equal to 12x. So none of those are equal to 0, and we want them to be. Our goal is to make them equal to 0. So to make them equal to 0, we just have to rearrange, which means I just have to move this negative 15. And to do that, I'm going to add 15 to both sides of my equation. Okay. And when I add 15 on the right side, I get 0, and I'll bring down my equal sign. And now the left side, I have 3 terms, x squared, 8x, and 15. None of those are like terms, so I write them all separate. X squared plus 8x plus 15. And that's my equation set equal to 0. All right, next one. I have this equal to 2 different terms, right? 2x squared equals negative 3x plus 9. So I'm going to do this in 2 steps. First, I'm going to get rid of this negative 3x by adding 3x to both sides. I'll get 2x squared plus 3x equals, I still have a positive 9. Then I have to get rid of the 9 by subtracting 9 from both sides. I'll get 0 on the right, and then over here I get 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Okay, next one. I am equal to positive 32. To get rid of that, I need to subtract 32 from both sides of my equation. I get 0 on the right, equal sign. And now I actually have like terms here. Negative 4 and negative 32 are like terms. So I'm going to combine them. I'll get x squared minus 36 equals 0. And then lastly, 2x squared equals positive 12x. To move a positive 12x, we subtract 12x. And on the right, I get equals 0. On the left, I get 2x squared minus 12x. So now all of my equations are equal to 0. That is a good thing. That's practice for what we'll do next. All right, so what we're going to do next is actually solve these. First step is it set equal to 0. This equation already is set equal to 0. Next step, we have to factor. This is already factored. I don't have to do that step. Last step, I'm going to use ZPP, which means take this factor, set it equal to 0, take this factor, set it equal to 0. ZPP is from topic 2 in your notes if you need to look back. And we get 2x equals negative 4, divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. That's one solution. I have 2 solutions actually, because on this side I can add 5, and I get x equals 5. Both of these are solutions. All right. So, next one, check if it's equal to 0. It is. Check if it's factored. And it actually is factored. I can put that x in parentheses. This is factored. I'm going to take both factors and set them equal to 0. The first one is x equals 0. That's already solved. The next one is x minus 19 equals 0. Add 19 to both sides, and I get x equals positive 19. Okay, we have 4 more examples. They get a little bit more difficult. Set equal to 0, check. Is this factored? No, I have to factor. There's no GCF between these, so I have to factor using the box method. All right, 2x squared, negative 9. What times what multiplies to get negative 18? What plus what adds to get 3 from right here. Okay, those two numbers are positive 6 and negative 3. Positive 6 and negative 3. And then I'm going to put them in the box, 6x, negative 3x, and now I'm going to fill out the outside of the box. So x and x, I have to decide where to put the 2. I'm going to put it here, and that is because it will divide evenly into 6, like that, 2x times 3, and then negative 3 goes here. So my factored form is 2x minus 3, x minus 3. And my original problem was set equal to 0, so I set this equal to 0. Now this is factored, so I can solve using ZPP. 2x minus 3 equals 0. Add 3. I get 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. And I get x equals 3 divided by 2. You could write that as the decimal 1.5, or you could leave it as the fraction 3/2. This one, x minus 3 equals 0. Add 3. And I get x equals positive 3. Okay, let's do another one. This next one, this is already set equal to 0. Great. And let's go to factor it. And actually, before I jump to the box method, these have a GCF. So I'm going to use a different method. I'm going to put these in my GCF, just put them inside a box. I'm going to put the GCF here, x. I'm going to fill out the outside, an x and a negative 10. That means my factored form is x times x minus 10. My original equation is equal to 0, and we'll solve. X equals 0. X minus 10 equals 0. Add 10. We get x equals 10 as one solution, x equals 0 as the other. Okay, we have two more, and these are the most difficult. They have a lot of steps. Look at these steps. Step 1, set equal to 0. Step 2, factor. Step 3, solve using ZPP. So step 1, this is not set equal to 0. We'll do that by subtracting 12x on both sides. And I'll get 2x squared minus 12x. Then I'm going to factor, and I actually have a GCF. So I'm going to factor like this, 2x squared minus 12x. My GCF is 2x, and I put an x up here, and a negative 6, because 2x times negative 6 is negative 12x. Factored form is 2x out front, x minus 6. And then remember, we're equal to 0. My first equation is 2x equals 0. My second equation is x minus 6 equals 0. And to solve this, the first equation, we can solve this with one step by dividing by 2. I get x equals 0. And this one I'll add 6, and I'll get x equals 6. Okay, last one. This is not set equal to 0. Add 15. And we get x squared plus 8x plus 15. Okay, next step. This says not factored. We have to factor. There's no GCF, so I have to use my box method. What times what equals 15? What plus what equals 8? Those ones are both positive, 5 and 3. So we do 5x and 3x. And the outside of the box is x and x. I need a 5 here and a 3 here. And my factored form is x plus 3 coming from here, and x plus 5 coming from here. And then an equal 0, because our equation is equal to 0. Okay, x plus 3 equals 0. Some of you guys can do this in your head, I know. Minus 3 minus 3. We get x equals minus 3. Here we get x plus 5 equals 0. minus 5 minus 5, and we get x equals negative 5. All right, you guys should be practicing your homework assignment for this. I believe for homework on this one, we are on homework number, it's either 5 or 6, and that homework assignment, make sure you're following the directions. Some questions just ask to set equal to 0. Some questions ask you to actually solve. Okay, good luck.